Hey folks, and we are back here at the GameSpot stage at E3 2014. Once again, I'm your host Sean McInnes, and I've got Mark Darrah from BioWare, the executive producer on Dragon Age Inquisition. Yeah. Mark, thanks for joining us on stage.
Oh, it's great to be here.
So you guys have been getting a pretty good amount of buzz so far here at E3.
Yeah, it's been a good E3 for us. Yeah, we've been showing a lot of the game, so it's been getting a lot of good buzz.
I mean, people seem to have responded really well to the direction that you guys are going with Dragon Age Inquisition, which in my estimation, if I had to describe it in a nutshell, which is just blow up the game, expand the scale, and give it the kind of like visual identity that it's never really had in the past, this like really, really intriguing art style while just expanding the whole thing, right?
Yeah, really, I mean, this is, in a way, really the Dragon Age game we've always been trying to make or wanting to make. We just haven't had the time or the scale to do it. So we're really, in this one, trying to bring exploration back to a BioWare game. So we have that core story that we're known for with the characters and relationships that really draw you in, but now we can give you a lot more space to explore and immerse yourself in a world.
All right, great. Now, if you guys have any questions, feel free to respond in the GameSpot chat that we have going on right here, or send them my way on Twitter. I am at @smcInnes. Let's take a look at the footage that you guys have brought along here. Can you describe this particular area?
Yeah, so this is actually the Hinterlands. It's actually an area that's just outside of Redcliffe Village for people that are familiar with Dragon Age. This area is bigger than all of Dragon Age Origins put together, and it's one of just a multitude of regions that we're actually having in Dragon Age Inquisition. So this is a more settled area, but it's actually in the grips of conflict between the mages and the Templars. We'll see that right here. Mages and Templars are kind of going at it down there. But we'll take you to less explored areas, Frostback Mountains, out into bogs and deep desert. The thing is that for Dragon Age Inquisition, the scope of the story is so big that we needed the breadth of terrain. We're crossing two nations, so we couldn't just have one region. We needed to be able to pull it out and just have it be able to go where it needed to go from the storytelling perspective.
So one of the tricky things about big open games is that scale alone doesn't make things interesting. You need that emergent gameplay and all the little in-between areas when you're not doing a critical mission. So in terms of what you guys are doing with Inquisition, what's the incentive to just explore and take things at your own pace?
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right about open world gameplay. For us, what we really make sure is that every area you go to is important to the story. You're doing things to further the power of the Inquisition. This is an organization that you ultimately lead, and it gives you the power to do things you wouldn't otherwise be able to do. You reach a fortress, the doors are locked behind you, you can't sneak in the back. You have troops, you have 100 guys that you can use to bash the door in to get you through that front door. And ultimately what you're doing in exploration is things that are either going to make you better, so gathering crafting materials in order to make yourself better armor and arms, or you're doing things that are actually furthering the renown and power of the Inquisition to draw people to your cause.
All right, so we're starting to get quite a flood of questions here. Maximilian on Twitter is asking about the controls in the game because, from Dragon Age Origins to Dragon Age 2, you guys quickened the pace a little bit, made the action a little bit more immediate and quick. What are you guys doing with Inquisition?
So we're doing two things there. We're slowing down the animation to be a little bit more weight, a little bit more grounded in the world. So when a guy's swinging a two-handed sword, he's not spinning around as much. He's a little bit more grounded. The other thing is that we're bringing back Tactile Camera on all 5 platforms. So it was just on PC for Dragon Age Origins, didn't exist on Dragon Age 2 at all. Here you're going to be able to pull the camera back, really look at the battlefield, consider what you're doing, and really give that really fine control. If you want to do that, you'll also be able to control the game completely in real time if that's the play style you prefer.
Now, what was the reason behind bringing that tactical camera back? Is it just something that you are able to do now that you've got more time and you can fine-tune it?
Yeah, it's partially that. It's partially just that ultimately this is a game about leadership. This is a game about controlling a group, both the Inquisition but also your party, and it just felt very much, even just from a storytelling thematic perspective, was a very appropriate thing to bring back.
All right. Let's see here. A lot of questions about romance options.
Yeah, we always get a lot of questions about romance options.
So let's just describe it in a nutshell, because BioWare has always been very progressive about that type of thing and giving just players options and not forcing them to to live their character in a very particular way.
Yeah, I mean, I think options is a very good way to put it. We definitely want to make sure that you have as much control over the way you play your character and the way you interact with other people. So that doesn't mean romances are totally optional. We're going to try to make it as clear as possible when you're crossing that line, so you're not stumbling into a romance option by mistake.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I still remember in Dragon Age Origins, and this might be too, but Dragon Age Origins, walking into the brothel, them asking, what would you prefer, male or female? Well, the third option was, surprise me.
Yes.
So it's always been that kind of game.
Yes.
Let's see here. Some questions about importing saves from previous games.
So the way that works is Dragon Age Inquisition is definitely a great place to pick up the series if you haven't played before. What we're doing is we have a web service called the Dragon Age Keep, which you can go to and actually build a save, essentially build your choices from the previous two games using an interactive form. It's in closed beta right now, but we're going to be expanding that out over the summer.
All right. So, and does that give you kind of like a little story primer in case you've forgotten those details?
Exactly. If you really want to be, if you haven't played Dragon Age before and you really, really want to be up to date on the world, the Dragon Age Keep is going to give you an opportunity to really see what happened in the previous two games.
All right. So we're actually taking a look at a big epic dragon battle right now.
Yeah,
and I feel like we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we actually were distracted, and we're kind of actually pretty far into it. So I mean, dragons are actually the biggest, baddest things. They're really endgame content. They're apex predators. You really need to bring your game when you're going to fight them. One thing we've introduced for Dragon Age Inquisition is multiple target regions. So now you're not just attacking a big sort of sphere of damage. You can attack their legs. If you do enough damage, they're going to roll over onto their side, giving you access to their head to really do a lot more damage.
So, and you said that they are endgame enemies. What type of enemies are we going to be encountering along the progression towards dragons?
So one of the things we're doing in this game is we're not auto balancing the game, which means like in the very first area you're in, there will be a dragon there, and if you want to go and try to take him on at level 5, you can do that. It's probably going to be a bad idea. But we're going to really open up and leave it to the player to really decide how deeply they want to engage. A lot of humanoid creatures, obviously. This is very much a game that has a lot of people and politics in it. But the game, at its fundamental core, is about this breach in the sky, which is spitting demons out. So a lot of demons you're going to see over the course of the game.
All right. Now, Abdelrahman Keshk on Twitter is asking about types of dragons, variety. Is it sort of like just that one singular dragon in the distance that you're working towards, or is it sort of various types?
There are various types of dragons. We actually have dragonlings as well, sort of the younger dragons, but we'll be doing dragons differentiated by element, like essentially like fire breath or ice breath, as well as a few other sort of regional variations based on where in the world you actually are.
All right. Let's see. So many very, very specific questions about Dragon Age. That tends to be the kind of community that you guys have,
That's
right?
the community we have. Yes, very specific questions about Liliana's haircut or something, I suspect, yes.
So how do you filter that kind of stuff? How do you take just that wealth of feedback from the community and use that to inform the direction of the game?
Yeah, I mean, it's really important to be open to these kinds of questions and to try to respond as best we can. Obviously, we don't want to answer questions that are going to spoil the story. I mean, even though people think they want the answer to some of these questions, there's some that the answer is not going to be. It's going to wreck things for them. So we have to be careful about what we do and do not answer.
Right, of course. Let's see. We're getting questions about platforms of the game, specifically what we're seeing here. Can you tell? Do you happen to know what platform this was?
Yeah, so this was actually captured on a PC with a controller. We will have full PC mouse and keyboard controls as well, and then like Xbox One and PS4 will have really high graphical fidelity as well. PS3 and Xbox 360 are obviously going to have a little bit lag behind a little bit there.
Yeah. Any plans for modding support on the PC version?
Maybe we've talked about it. Obviously, this game uses Frostbite 3, so that's something that doesn't currently exist for that engine. But it is something we have talked about, and so not at launch.
Right. And even if it's not official, the Dragon Age community tends to be pretty active.
They'll definitely figure it out. We've seen Dragon Age 2 stuff where we didn't have an official tool set that has shown up for sure.
Let's see. So we talked about the importing of saves and how you guys are building that tool to create your own save file in case you don't have that in case you don't have that anymore. But in terms of what you're importing, how much does that affect the events of Dragon Age Inquisition? Jared Richard on Twitter is actually asking about that specifically.
Yeah, so one thing that Dragon Age has always been about, it's much more about the world and the time than it is about a specific character. So what that means is there's sort of choices you've made that matter for the world, choices you've made that matter for characters, and those are very important. So, who's the king from Dragon Age Origins? That's really important. Ultimately, who the Warden romanced, that's actually important too, because we have characters that return. It's important to know if Morgan had a relationship with that Warden character. But some of the other choices you made maybe mattered in the moment, but didn't matter to the overall state of the world. So we're importing hundreds of choices from the previous games, so it's a lot.
All right, Mark. Well, I appreciate your time, and I'd like to apologize to the 900 people whose questions we didn't get to today.
Yeah, I mean, we'll try to answer them as best we can.
All right, great. So there you guys have it. That was your look at Dragon Age Inquisition, courtesy of our friend Mark Darrah from BioWare.